Hello, everybody, and good morning. I am Cherie, the Money Lady, here to talk with you about the breaking news that the new Fed chair has been nominated. It's a guy named Kevin Warsh. We're going to talk a little bit about him today. Not really about him, just more about what this means for potentially for rates, what it means for mortgage rates, giving you a little bit of my 2 cents and my thoughts with regards to how this is going to impact you. So, as you're listening to the live stream, please click the thumbs up for me, like the video. Let's get started with the fact that Kevin Warsh has been nominated by President Trump to be the pick to replace Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. So, Jerome Powell's time at the Federal Reserve as chair of the Federal Reserve is expected to end in May. People were talking about this. There was, a lot of different names being floated around, but this is the guy that has been chosen. His name is Kevin Warsh. He's got, a JD and all sorts of formal education. And of course, he is liked not only by the Trump administration, but the interesting thing in an article that I read this morning is that he's also liked by the investors. Now, this is Cherie being a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, because I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. When they say investors, the specific article that I read that said that he's liked by the investors as well, it's not you and me investors, right? It's the Wall Street people, it's the bankers, it's the people with the money who like this guy as well. So, um, one of the things that Jerome Powell did was he kept interest rates higher because his mandate was to have full employment or as close to full employment as possible, as well as lowering inflation. So Jerome Powell was thinking, hey, you know what? If we lower the interest rates, we're going to see a spike in inflation. And many of you know, if you've been keeping up with any of the economic news, that Trump and Jerome Powell have been clashing because Trump cares more about the economy, the GDP, the stock market than I know that, well, I won't say I know. I believe he cares about inflation, but it's not as high on his list. So, one of the things that I'm curious about seeing is if the mandate is going to change for the Fed. But understand this guy, Kevin Warsh, cannot lower interest rates by himself. There are 12 people on what's called the FOMC. And FOMC is the Federal Open Market Committee. These 12 people, these 12 governors, they're the ones that all get together and they decide if interest rates are going to be lowered. They have to decide as a committee, and the majority of the committee has to decide that yes, we're going to lower interest rates. So just because this guy has been accepted and just because this guy is liked by the Wall Street investors, that doesn't automatically mean that rates are going to get lower. It doesn't, right? We'll see what happens over time because my understanding is some of the other governors that are still going to be within the Fed from May on are still very conservative the way that Jerome Powell was conservative. So we'll see if there's any tipping of the balance that's going to happen. I haven't read any articles that there are, but between now and May, is a long time in government world. We are maybe going to have another government shutdown and things like that. So who knows what's going to happen. I do want to say, though, that just because the Fed rate is or will be cut at some point in time, that does not mean that the mortgage rates are going to be cut off. The reason that that happens is because the mortgage rate is actually controlled by the Treasury and the bond market for mortgage-backed securities. So again, just because the Fed decides to lower rates, which will be great for our credit cards, um, and it'll stimulate the economy. Businesses will be able to start borrowing money again in order to start growing and hiring people. That does not necessarily mean that the mortgage rates are going to go down. Right now, the mortgage rates are expected to go down, if you have excellent credit, into the high fives by the end of 2026. But who knows what's going to happen with the mortgage rates? And like I said, who knows right now what's going to happen even with the Fed rates for our credit cards and things like that. I do want to let you know that I do have free resources though, just because the rates have not like come back down to 2021, 2022 rates, which most economists think that is never going to happen again. We're never going to get the rates in the twos and the threes again. Maybe the fours at some point. We'll see what happens. That doesn't mean that now is a bad time to purchase, because understand this: when rates go down by 1%, mortgage rates go down by 1%, then an additional 5 million people come into the market in order to purchase properties. So when more people decide they want to come and purchase properties, you're going to pay more for the same house, which means that most likely your monthly payment will go up. Your real dollars going out will go up for that same property, even though the rates have gone down. So just something to think about. But yes, Kevin Warsh has officially been nominated as Trump's new Fed chair pick. So just wanted to make sure everybody got that breaking news. And if you need me, you know where to find me. You can DM me at any time, ask questions that you have about loans, home loans, mortgages, things like that. Okay. Have a blessed day, blessed weekend, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Bye.